XRP is trading above $9.89 billion of 24-hour trade volume and about to break a new all-time high today after market open Monday, July 21st. In today's video, we're going to uncover all the things to look forward to for the rest of the week and even basically the rest of July, what to kind of expect for XRP, the entire cryptocurrency market, as tomorrow, Tuesday, July 22nd, is going to be a pretty massive day. And in addition, we're expecting hopefully end of month to be also pretty substantial. But let's talk about what the numbers are saying, what to kind of look for, and outlook for the rest of July going into August, which is looking extremely bullish. Now, remember, as always, never financial advice, just trying to put you guys on the plays that I am in. If you're new around here, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm and also consider subscribing to the channel. Now, the overall market, again, opened up today extremely bullish. Things are looking pretty dang good overall. We're seeing significant inflows for a lot of different crypto assets. Meme coins are doing well, but what you all care about, of course, is XRP, which right now is trading at $3.61, almost $3.62. But what's incredible is the 24-hour trade volume. If you go to CoinMarketCap, you can see one of the categories that they are always referencing is trade volume is a metric that people look at because this shows you the amount of interest in a certain crypto project. $9.89 billion, up 35% since yesterday. Because remember, yesterday on Sunday, I made a dedicated video about how we're seeing way more volume on XRP than we typically would see on a Sunday. One of the highest Sunday volumes that we've had in 2025. So with that being said, right now, we know there's a lot of interest that is happening in terms of retail demand for XRP, but also we're starting to discuss and look at institutional demand. And here's what the numbers are telling us. First and foremost, resistance. So right now, we basically just what we could call is potentially a double top on the last 4 days. XRP was right around $3.65 on July 17th, retraced, consolidated, started running back up. And right now we're building a red candle, which was right around $3.65 as well. Almost or exactly the same place that we were, which all-time highs for most assets in any market act as resistance. So the idea right now is we can break through this previous resistance and then hopefully continue our trek over the next few days and even weeks going into July, the rest of July and going into August, hopefully breaking above $4 or even $5 before the weekly close this week. So that's what people are trying to eye right now is how high will XRP go compared to where it's topped off at its previous all-time high, which was just 4 days ago. Now, watch your guru just in. Of course, when you look at the global market, we always need to look at Bitcoin to see what altcoins are also going to do. Michael Saylor's strategy buys 6,220 Bitcoin worth $734 million. They've basically been buying Bitcoin on a weekly basis. But here's what retail is seeing and institutions alike. First of all, XRP surpassed a $215 billion market cap today, which is substantial, guys. When you see these kind of numbers, people start eyeing the project. But a lot of people can't really fathom what $215 billion really is. But what I like is what Cointelegraph posted earlier today, breaking XRP surpasses McDonald's in market cap, becoming more valuable than the global fast food giant. Let that sink in for just a moment for each and every one of you watching. Think about that, reflect on it, and understand if you're like me, a 90s baby, or someone who grew up in the 80s even, the early 2000s, doesn't matter. Even in the 70s, McDonald's was a part of your childhood. And this is something that's been around for 30, 40, even maybe 50 years by now. I'm not really sure exactly how long. But the fact is XRP was born not more than in the last decade. It was created and it's become a crypto asset. And in that short amount of time, it was able to surpass a global franchise, a restaurant, fast food franchise, to show you the shift and direction that we are going. Because right now we're in a technology-based age. And from technology, it's even becoming more of an AI-based boom right now. And from there, we know how hand-in-hand blockchain, financial infrastructure, all also comes in. And XRP is at the forefront, the 77th biggest asset in the entire world. You owning XRP today makes you amongst the individuals that are owning one of the biggest assets in the world. Because we know at the end of the day, we're all trying to hedge against fiat currency like the dollar and anything else. I always try to stay lean when it comes to my dollar position. Yes, cash is king during crashes. If you were here during the February tariff crash, when Trump decided to, again, enact those tariffs and create some kind of substantial sell-off. But Let's think about what typical people are going to see once they see these kind of things happen. We know we passed Shell yesterday, Intuit, which we know this is a huge, big financial behemoth, McDonald's. Next up, we're about to flip American Express as one of the biggest credit card providers in the entire world and banking systems. So folks, this is substantial. This shows you the direction we are going as XRP holders, as XRP believers, as people that do want to see the continued success. So let's say you're a boomer or you are someone that is just starting out your career and you're looking to start investing in a retirement account. Well, Trump, as I mentioned last week, is planning to open 401ks and IRA markets to crypto. This is going to be the unlock to the working class. Trump plans to open 401k IRA markets or individual retirement account markets to crypto originally appeared on the street. So he's preparing to open up a $9 trillion US retirement market to cryptocurrencies, gold, private equity, and other alternative assets, a move that could fundamentally change how millions of Americans save for retirement. Historically speaking, people would invest in traditional markets like the S&P 500 in traditional companies like McDonald's, like Tesla, like Google, like Amazon. The companies that you are utilizing and using on a day-to-day living. But now that Trump unlocks this $9 trillion market to XRP, to the crypto markets, blockchain technology, we're talking about inflows like never seen before. And the most interesting thing is when we look at volume at 9.88 billion, 9.98 billion compared to 9 trillion, that's not even a 100th. Guys, that's not even a 100th of what we could potentially see. I'm talking maybe even a 1,000th, of where we could potentially see in terms of inflows of XRP. So when people start telling me, Pop, how in the world are you talking in numbers like $30, $40, $50, $100, $1,000 for XRP? You need to understand that the restructuring of the financial markets, the restructuring of the world as we know it, and blockchain being what everything is run on, XRP is just getting started. This has been a very much retail demanded cryptocurrency, and that's what causes these really big squeezes like we saw in 2017, followed by these huge crashes. People will make money like they've never seen before in a very short amount of time, and they'll offload their positions very quickly. But as people start to think about it and say, what am I selling my XRP for? Dollars, euros, British pounds, dirhams? Wherever you are in the globe, you'll start to realize that, wait a second, I'm making a detrimental mistake because everything that we compare to crypto is usually fiat currency. But there will come a day where fiat currency is instead compared to crypto. Right now, it might not make much sense, but again, I'm talking about the next 2, 5, and plus years. So everything right now is pointing towards a pretty significant bull market for XRP, for crypto, for everything alike. We're seeing, again, substantial demand coming into altcoins as we see Bitcoin dominance begin to tumble. Now 59.6%. In yesterday's video, we were at 60.6%. The fear and greed index still says that we are in a Bitcoin heavy, but also fearful market, or not as greedy of a market, which puts us at 67. Because remember, anything above an 88 or when we enter extreme greed is when I start to worry that the market is overly greedy. Going back to Warren Buffett's philosophy that every investor in Wall Street and anyone who has substantial investments in any markets always says, when people are greedy, that is the time to be fearful. But when there's fear in the markets, when everything seems like it's going downhill, that is the time to start getting greedy. But right now, we're still in that intermediate of there's fear, there's greed, there's a little bit more greed than fear, but we're not in extreme greed yet. So once this is somewhere between 89, 95, 97, approaching 100, that's when you can start considering skimming or taking some profits if you need the profits or you want to make sure to have cash ready for a dip in XRP, in Bitcoin, and any other crypto asset in the market. And altcoin season index. I really like this new feature that they have on here. We're currently sitting at 56, which is not fully altcoin season yet, and it's not fully Bitcoin dominant season yet either. So with that being said, if you look at the last 90 days, we are at the highest altcoin season probability. And I'm hoping that we continue to see this rise closer to 100, where we're fully on more risk assets. Because right now, people that are entering crypto for the first time aren't looking at Bitcoin as the most attractive currency to buy, but instead they're looking at all these alternatives that are also included like XRP, ETH, and others. So be prepared, not surprised. When they panic, we'll continue to pounce, buy the dips. But right now, we're still on a very strong rip. Let's see where the market goes. Tomorrow's going to be a pretty substantial day. And I appreciate your support as always, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's all I had for you. And until next time, as always, keep investing. Peace.